Hey, everybody. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Sorry for a bit of the delay trying to, manage real life, work life, love life, and crypto life. It's an intense juggling act, but we're doing it. We've been doing it for almost a year now, and we will continue doing it. Hope everybody had an awesome weekend. I know we got some seriously cool stuff done, which is very exciting. So I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm going to start with the legal side of the house. As always, there is progress being made, which is exciting. Trying to get us, labeled appropriately. And I won't spend too much time on that because, we talk about it every AMA. That is the most important part. How can we possibly be many worlds and have a mission to bridge the new world with the old world if we don't have the proper way to connect both of those worlds? So that is of the highest and utmost importance, is making sure that there is a good way to navigate the legal structures of all nations, so that our mission can carry on and we could help be one of those groups leading the charge to mass adoption. But I can start hinting towards what it's going to look like so long as you all vote it to be. And whether it's for-profit or non-profit is still up in the air. That's still an uncertainty. Well, I didn't even do a mic check. Can I get a confirmation you guys could hear me? I should make sure. Excellent. Okay. All right. I want to pull something up real quick. So let me just go grab that. Bear with me one moment. Okay, cool. So I have that downloaded for us to take a peek at here in a second. So the general idea is going to be, if you want to start Googling it, if you're curious as the direction that we're going to head and the places that we're starting to go to vote, the structure is going to be similar to that of a club or organization. But one of the phrases to look into is for-profit social enterprise. For-profit social enterprise. That's some idea that we're playing with, because truthfully, what's happening in crypto, this is new, right? Blockchain technology isn't incredibly new. It's decades old. Walmart has been using it for a long time. But how you use it when you're working with a group of people towards a common goal, it gets really interesting. Like, is it a co-op? Is it a I said I'm not going to spend too much time on it, so I'm not. Just know that developments are being made, and as soon as we have a little bit more clear of a picture of the structure and what that's going to look like, we'll present that for everybody to vote on. Now, some of it may require some significant changes. There could be significant changes in the way rewards are distributed. There could be significant changes in the way the smart contract operates, right? It may require a redeployment. Now, all of this is going to be decided by all of us, right? There is no dev team making decisions. We're just dev people building stuff. But when it comes to how this all actually looks, will be up to you. But for it to hit the appropriate buckets we're trying to do, it will likely require some pretty serious changes. So stand by and stay up to date for all of that. But that is still, several weeks worth of work, potentially months. We could be doing this for a while, right? The whole structuring side. So all we can do in the meantime is continue building. And that's where we'll go ahead and chat a little bit about the marketplace, because I know everybody is really excited for the marketplace. So let's see if this file's too big for me to upload. Second. Let's see if that works. You can listen to Alex's fire music as he demos the marketplace running and working live inside of the D app. There are 2 remaining components, and it feels so good to not be on an AMA and say we have to wait on this team to do that or that team to do this. This is totally up to us, finally. So these are the two challenges that we have left remaining. The first is we are still using pieces of the old backend, which causes some of those slow delays, those 20-second delays you're seeing there in the video that's currently uploading into the AMA chat. And we need to replace that with the backend that Gustav and Mike have worked, so hard on. So we have that portion that needs to be fixed. And then the last thing is the part of the front end. Chewy has done an amazing job, absolutely amazing job building it all together, piecing it all together. And it looks fantastic when it's alone. I don't know how much people are developers in here, but I'll talk like you are. So there's something up with the CSS. For some reason, the CSS that we're using inside of the D app doesn't play well with the CSS that we used to develop the marketplace. So we have this beautiful looking marketplace that we showed in screenshots in the last AMA, but the moment that exists inside the D app, all of that prettiness just disappears. So those are the last two challenges before we go live with the open beta. I would like to say that could be done this week, because if you talk in terms of tech time, that's about how long it would take us. There's not much left to be done. The hardest parts are over, which is incredibly exciting. But now these little minor things will take a little bit of time, because Chewy is going to be out for the next week, and Arexis is also going to be out. So we have 2 devs down this week, and we're just going to continue developing other things and fleshing things out in the meantime. So the live beta is very close to being live, but not yet. We did put a lot of pressure on Chewy to have it done by this AMA, and honestly, he got really, really close. If it wasn't for this CSS collision, he would have pulled it off. Between him and Arexis, they would have pulled it off and integrated it, and that's great, but, software is 99% dealing with bugs. So those are the last 2 parts for the marketplace. I'll give an update on the on-ramp, because I don't think I've given one in a while, but that is the same thing as it's always been. We're waiting on them to do things, and there's not much we can do about that. And by not much, I mean nothing. There's nothing we can do. So the main reason for this AMA that I wanted to talk to everyone about is to start thinking about that structure. Start thinking about the way this is all going to work. Because one thing I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt is anything that's rewards related or related to the way money flows, if you can even call it money, because it's all crypto, but if you did call it money, the way any currency flows throughout the project, it is going to have to happen for a reason. One of the most impossible things to try to tackle is the ability to passively just earn money for doing absolutely nothing, right? It's going to have to be in terms of payment for participation, or, you voted, right? If you don't cast your vote, well, then you're not participating in the system, so the system cannot reward you, right? So that's one thing I'd like you to seriously keep in mind as we move forward, not to, press any wrong buttons or anything. I just know that, the way everything started has been around the idea that we are a community-driven project, that the community will make these big decisions coming down the road. And now we're starting to come to those really big decisions. And I just don't want anyone feeling like, the way they started versus the way it's going, it's this completely different thing. It's always been an evolving thing, and it will continue to be an evolving thing. So if you don't have interest in being an active participant, and I don't mean working 40 hours a week, right? But doing things here and there, testing out something, placing a vote, participating in the growth of the system. If you don't plan on doing that, then this probably isn't the project for you. And I'd love to see anyone and everybody involved in this, but if we could break down the mission of the Many Worlds project, it's to bridge the gap between the new world and the old, right? That is our mission here. And if you don't like that mission, well, you propose a change. You can propose that change and we can vote on it and we could focus into a different mission. But this is the original thought, and it is the carrying on thought of what and who we are. So to do that, we need a giant talent pool of people, which we already have a significant talent pool of artists and developers. And that's growing. Every week I feel that we're getting a message from somebody else asking how they can help out. And that's basically what Many Worlds is meant to become, this organization for anyone who believes in technology, believes in the way crypto can change the world. And this is a great central place to begin that journey and help push that forward. So the way we're going with structuring, I don't get your hopes up, but it's possible. It's possible that this could lead to government grants and grant funding to help support the development of blockchain technology in the real world. So long as the structure goes that way, but that would be fantastic, right? We basically have this pool of funding, and let's say company A or government organization A or whoever, they put in a request to the Many Worlds community. That proposal gets vetted by the committee that's voted in by the members. As long as it's not a stupid proposal, like send me all of your BNB, and it's a legitimate proposal, we would all discuss that as a community. And then we would all participate to the best of our ability, how we can help make that become a reality, right? And these company A or organization A or whoever is putting in this request, they would give funding, and that funding would be used to pay the developers to build, to pay artists, to pay for marketing if it's required, to pay out the rewards, because the rewards are payment for you participating inside of that effort. Now on the other side is the Many Worlds Direct, right? Our vision, our things that we want to build. That is all just us, right? That is all just doing whatever we want to do as an organization. We know that the current thing we're working on right now is the trading post, right? That's going to go live with the beta. And then we all know that the next thing on the roadmap is the customization platform, but that could change. We could all somebody can put a proposal for the Many Worlds internal and say, hey, what if we started building this? I think this could be a really good idea for us. And if people like it, we do that. So that's kind of the way the structure is starting to settle in. I know that's still a little vague, but that's because it is vague. There really is no set structure for how this looks yet. So that's the general idea, but it is leagues ahead of what I would say before, which was we're still trying to figure it out. We're still trying to form this thing. There's actually kind of a clearer picture moving forward. So what's going to be happening over the next coming weeks is first there will be a diagram coming in. And when we get that diagram, that's from the legal team. When we get that diagram in from the legal team, we're going to take that. We're going to poke any holes in it from a tech perspective, right? Can we shift the smart contract to make this happen? We're going to pick it apart from every angle. And then we're going to give that back to the legal team. They're going to pull the operating agreement based on the Constitution that's been developed and the general stuff that we've been talking about since the launch of the project. That's going to get turned into a constitution of sorts, like a legal constitution of sorts. And then again, we'll have that big voting day where we go line by line through the Constitution. We approve, we deny. And that's pretty much it. Once that's set, we then do our voting for the committees. And once the committees are in place, we open the floodgates, right? We always have our own stuff, right? We have our own developers, we have our own everything that we're just building stuff because we like doing it. But this full structure is going to allow us to do much, much more and actually get loud about it. So I hope I provided a little bit more clarity about the direction we're headed. Of course, as always, if you don't agree with any of it, if you have any concerns or questions or want to know more, you can always ask, right? You can always ask, or you can propose something else entirely. I know we haven't fully used the voting system. We've only used third-party sources that are out there, and we're still working on the voting section of our own platform to do these votes on and the workflow that's going to look like. So it is a little bit more difficult, but I want everyone to know that you can at any point propose anything, and we can use the current systems that we have for voting. Is it exactly the cleanest? No, but we're brand new, right? We're a baby project. We're still building things out. We're getting started. So I just don't want anyone feeling like you have to wait for the devs, right? This isn't your typical project where there's a dev team doing things and then everybody's just waiting for an update. If you want to do something or you want to change the way we're going, propose that and we'll vote on it. So I want everyone to be at a stage where they understand that even though a lot of the technology that we want to use to make this system very clear isn't in place, the system itself is still very, very much in place. You guys could vote me out of being the front man right now if you wanted to, right? You could vote anybody into that position. You can do anything that you want. This is our project. So I will make that clear on every AMA. If you're sick of hearing it, I'm sorry, because I will never stop talking about it. The technology is just going to make that clearer. The legal framework is going to make that clearer. But that's what it is and what it will always be. This is our project. This is our community, our club, whatever you want to call it. We're a group of people, and we're here to try to make blockchain really blow up and build a lot of cool stuff, because there's a lot of opportunity in this industry and a lot of cool things to build. So I'm excited for that. Do we have any questions? Anything? That video did just upload inside of AMA chat, so you can take a peek. It's about 7 minutes long. That is it working inside of the D app. But like I said, we do have those 2 remaining issues we need to iron out, and I don't have an exact deadline on that, with 2 folks being away this week. So Gustav, do you want to come up and say anything? If you do, just raise your hand. If not, I'll also look for questions. Oh yeah, I forgot you have God mode. You can just come up here.
Hi there.
Hey,
Can you
Yep.
I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of a trek. I'm walking 20 kilometers right now, so I'm a bit without my breath. I think that Steve really highlighted all the points that were needed to be highlighted during this call. So honestly, I have nothing to add, and it's actually a good time for us to realize that we need to reorienting ourselves and make sure that everything is working properly. So I think you were spot on and you said the right things. I'm sorry, I was a bit running just before you asked me to speak.
That's okay. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. So that's pretty much where we're at in the project. Mm-hmm. It's no different than where we've been since the beginning of the year, right? It's structuring is slow, it's boring, but it doesn't mean you can't participate. So do whatever you want, build it out, ask questions, have comments, have opinions about the way we're going with everything. Right now, I'm the front man, right? If there's a question that you want me to ask the legal team, or any sort of way to structure things, or well, if we did it this way, could it be like that? I can do that. I can ask those questions. I can make sure, because that's really my job, right? I'm the front man. So my job is to represent the interests of everybody here. So anyone all those folks that are DMing me, asking me questions, giving me ideas, they're all getting answered. They're all getting responded to. I am a little bit slower with DMs. So, and honestly, I do prefer that we have these types of conversations in Gen Chat, because we should be talking about this stuff in Gen Chat. But that doesn't mean you can't DM me, right? So yeah, we're just going to keep on going down the structuring route. The live beta, I was hoping, right, was going to be good to go this week, but we do have those last 2 issues, and I'll have a little bit more information as the week goes on when Chewy and Alexis are back, about when we think we can tackle that. And then that's it. Legal's still doing the legal thing, right? Once I have that diagram, that's going to be the big announcement. Like, okay, everybody, it's go time. Like, this is when we really start refining. And man, what a beautiful world. If we get this squared up the way that we're all imagining, this could be really, really interesting. We may be one of the first, if not the very first, crypto project to structure in such a way that it's basically the co-op of crypto. I don't even know, right? Because what we're trying to do really hasn't been done. So that's why it's taking so long. And I don't want any misconceptions about the legal side. I have no clue how long this will take to develop. I'm hoping it's going to be quicker now that we have, this kind of charted out, and we're going to start getting feedback from the community as well. But I want to think like, oh, next week, that it's not going to be in every AMA. I'm going to have something new to say about that side. That is just going to take time. The real world moves a lot slower. Legal, banking, regulations, all of these things are very slow moving creatures, especially when you're trying to do something new. So again, anything anybody wants, bring it to Gen Chat. That's one thing I would love to see, is people discussing the project. We know the mission, right? Just keep the mission statement at heart and keep remaining flexible as we bounce around, making things work and piecing them together. But keeping that mission at heart, our job is to be that bridge, right? The many worlds portal, connecting projects, connecting metaverses, connecting the real world to the crypto world. That's what we want to do. That's what we want to build. And that's who we want to be. I am a firm believer that an organization like this could grow to a size, if done appropriately, that we actually do lead the charge into mass adoption. And that's what excites me about continuing to do what we do, even though it's slow and it's painstaking and it's tough. It's really tough, but you know what? It could be something truly special. So let's keep going. Any questions at all, feel free to ask them in AMA chat. I'll wait another moment or two before closing out the AMA. Yeah, any questions, comments, concerns, proposals, whatever you want. Oh yeah, and is Jeep in here? Is Jeep in here? I wanted to ask about that comic. It's really sick. I want to see if we're getting more updates on that. Keep up the hard work. Much love. Level 4 tokens, are we there yet? Not seeing it in DApp. I'm have to double check. To be completely honest, my focus has been so much on the real world side that I have been quite detached from the crypto side. But I know Gustav basically rebuilt our back end. So level 4 through all the way up to 10 is actually existing there. The D app, though, we really haven't been we haven't been pushing much updates to the D app because we may be just giving that a rebuild too, right? This went from a full build to we rebuilt basically everything from the ground up. So yeah, I'll have to double check on that for you. I'm not sure if we hit level 4 tokens, but even if we did, level 4 tokens are supposed to be associated with the marketplace. So until the marketplace is live, they won't even really matter. All that you're seeing in the front end is the front end just sees if level 4 exists at all. So we'll take a look in that and I'll get you a better answer. But again, right, that's one of the flexible things. We have the marketplace, right? And the idea was that half of the marketplace goes into the marketplace ops wallet to continue development there. And the other half is just distributed to level 4 rewards. But this is one of the things I'm talking about. You know, as we start taking shape and going into the real world, there is no structure in the real world that says you just get to have half of the profits of a product that's being generated without KYCing, without doing any sort of work towards that, without, you know, generating any work that equates to the increase in the profits. So that's where things start getting really complicated. Like the idea of rewards just getting distributed to level 4 tokens, period, regardless of who they are, regardless of where they live, that will create a lot of real world problems. And that is definitely the most complicated point or part of this entire formation process right now, is how to appropriately distribute those rewards. And right now, the idea is that it will be through some sort of like click task, right? Like you'll connect your wallet to the D app, you'll place your vote on something related to it, right? So you place your vote, then maybe you do some sort of marketing for the platform, like you click to post it on Twitter, you click to do this, right? Basically a click through, right? And once you've completed that click through, you have done what you need to do to be eligible for the rewards, because you actually did work. So it's almost like you're, I don't know. I don't know because it doesn't exist. So yeah, that I'm glad you brought that up though. So yeah, not seeing it in the D app, that's just a front end thing. On the back end, I don't know if level 4 has actually triggered, but I'll take a look at that. But again, level 4 is tied to the marketplace anyway, so we really won't be seeing anything with that. Rewards in general, they haven't gone out in 2 months. And I love that everybody has been incredibly patient and understanding that there just isn't, one, there's not enough volume to make them kick off. But two, there's, you know, we can't just keep sending these things out automatically until the legal side is done, right? So we need to figure out how to define those before that can turn on. So that rewards pile is just going to keep growing in size pretty much until this is all done. So any questions about everything I just said? Because I think that's a really important part of the direction we're headed here, and an important part of the conversation. There will need to be some sort of activity that equates to you getting rewards for that piece that you did. And that does play back into the original thought of these different many worlds, right? Where there are these different pieces. You can participate in Project A, but you don't really care about Project B. That's an idea that we had from the inception of many worlds. And now it looks like that original idea might be exactly what it looks like in Formation. That, oh, I'm interested in the marketplace, so I'm going to do all the marketplace things and participate in that, but I'm really not interested in the customization platform or this thing or that thing, so I'm not going to participate in that. And that's okay. Yeah, a bit of a rant there, but I think it's important. When crypto bottom? Great question. I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea. It kind of looks like it's trying to bottom out here, to be honest, but I don't know. I really, really don't. We live in such an insane time. Globally, we live in an insane time Things are just absolutely nuts. And crypto is probably the most uncertain thing that can be publicly traded, which anybody who's pretending to know which way crypto is going to go or what's going to happen is completely full of it. Because that's the most uncertain, unregulated, unknown, publicly tradable thing. Who knows? Bitcoin can go to $100,000 this month. Bitcoin could go to $0 this month. And I wouldn't be surprised either way. So who knows? Now that's the other thing. I'm going to drop another one of those items. We might be building our own chain. Just going to subtly throw that out there. But there is big things to consider. BNB is under investigation for being a security. And that could really stop. That could look at XRP, right? XRP is forced to be delisted. It can't be sold anymore. What does that mean for the Binance Smart Chain? I don't know, because basically every project on there is pegged to BNB. So if BNB is forced to stop trading, does that mean every BSC project is forced to stop trading? I don't know, but it could happen. So these are the types of things that we're looking at. And from the launch of this project, I said it since day one, and I won't stop saying it. Regulations, regulations, regulations. This is the year of regulations and where things start getting really weird for crypto, hopefully for the better. But usually the immediate term is for the worse because most of these agencies are enforcement agencies. They're not here to help. They're not here to try to find a clear path forward. They learn by going to court. That's how they learn. They take somebody to court, and whether they win or lose, they've learned more information about how to properly enforce it. It's a broken system, but it's the system. So regulations are really interesting. What's happening with BNB makes it even more interesting. And what does that mean for many worlds? Well, the good news about many worlds is we are a fucking community. We're just a community. That's it. The crypto token is the Many Worlds token just represents membership into the Many Worlds organization. We could as easily ask everybody to submit their email and we send you a membership certificate and that's it, right? That's all this token does. It's just membership tokens. That's it. So yeah. So it's interesting. If you look at Many Worlds from that light, all of this, everything that we talk about will make a lot more sense. Many Worlds is an organization. The Many Worlds token is just a representation of that membership. So it's if it really came down to it, where the world of crypto just isn't working, we can go off-chain membership and still develop stuff. We can still do all the things we're doing. We can still have an LLC co-op type of approach where we all have joint ownership inside of a company that's building these things, right? Like the method of how you're a member really isn't that important. It's just we're trying to build things in crypto, so it makes sense to use crypto as the membership. And that's why that will be the first thing we try to tackle, because if we can't even tackle that, well, how could we be trusted to tackle all the blockchain mass adoption problems? So I hope that made sense. Regulation, is it mainly a problem in the US? My God, yeah. Yeah, it is. The US is tricky. The interesting thing about the US is if you get everything done and set appropriately in the US, you're good in the rest of the world, because the rest of the world isn't as actually the UK has pretty strict rules on the difference between a utility token and a security. So I won't say every country you're good, but yeah, regulations in the US, that's a big deal. If you can get through the US red tape, then you could get through most red tape. Now, you bring up a great point. We can totally just not be a US project. And we can totally get rid of all US regulations. Now, what would that mean? That would mean two things. One, I need to step down as the front man because I am a US citizen. I can't be a US citizen and be running a non-US project and convince any government that that's okay. I could be part of it, right? Let's say we were formed in the Cayman Islands. I could be part of that, but I can't be the leader, front man, presenting it all across the United States and be like, oh, but we're not a US project, so don't worry about that. So that would cause some conflict with my personal involvement, which I'm okay with. If that's what's holding us back from growing, I'm so okay with stepping down, quote unquote, publicly, right? I don't need to be publicly facing everywhere in the US for this to happen. So we absolutely could just be non-US, but the other thing that's going to do is, out of all of our holders, how many are already US citizens, and how well can we prevent US citizens from participating in the ecosystem and inside of membership? Maybe we can do something where, like, in order to be a crypto Many Worlds member, that applies everybody else in the world. But if you're a US citizen, you can join the organization, but you can't own the underlying token. You're handled differently, kind of like Binance and Binance.us. We may need to have a US version of Many Worlds and a non-US version of Many Worlds. So I love these questions. I love this conversation because this is exactly what we're doing with the legal team. So if you guys have any questions or comments or anything about this stuff, bring this crap up in general. Talk about this, brainstorm, because I'm going to take it straight to the legal team and we're going to talk through what that could look like. I would love if just anybody can participate in that, but that's like literally illegal. We can't just have like an open floor, random people X being inside of a legal engagement, unfortunately. I did try that though. I did try that, and that was shut down really fast. Wow, if we end up making our own chain, that is so bullish. Odds on that eventually happening. Actually, crypto, that's like almost certainly happening. I think either way, we're going to make our own chain, because if you're on a private chain, nobody can say shit. There is no regulating. There is no nothing. The only reason regulations is a problem is because it's publicly traded. That's it. But if it's not publicly traded and it's not a public thing, no one's regulating or enforcing that because it's all private. It's kind of like, now there is some rules about, like if I were to form a private company, right? I can't just sell shares of my private company to anybody I want, right? Like in the US, you have to be an accredited investor. You have to hit a certain threshold of either income or net worth in order to invest in a private company like that. So there still are some sides that we'd probably have to deal with regarding that, but they're a lot easier than publicly traded. Like that's way easier to deal with than publicly traded. So yeah, I think no matter what, we are going to be making our own chain at some point. I don't know that we'll ever open that chain to the public, but that's not up to me. What we do with that chain and how we use that chain, it's up to us. It's up to what we do. I'm telling you that the reason I think we should have a private chain is seeing Many Worlds just shifted into the private sector, I think is one of the best ways forward. Now, granted, you totally get rid of what a lot of people are in crypto for, and that's the massive 1000x that they can get because there's a really good project. When you take something private, you're not getting that anymore. And I personally don't care because from the beginning, I've said I don't care about the price. I'm not doing this for the price. I'm doing this for the technology. So that would upset a lot of people if we did go that route. We probably have a few holders. I don't know how many that are here just for the price. But if you are here just for the price, I must have said it on every AMA. You're in the wrong spot. You're in the wrong place. But yeah, I guess it won't be a mineable chain. Other than nodes might be getting gas fees, or maybe not as gas. Should be as low as possible to be enticing for others. Yeah, could be a lot. It really could be anything. I don't know that would be mineable. I think it would just be a chain that we can deploy smart contracts on, and the native coin would be closer to a stable coin, right? Like we would have to have a cash pool where the native coin is just a stable, 1-to-1 ratio with the US dollar, which allows you access to the chain. And you would also need keys to have access to the chain. But once on chain, you could participate in different tokens, right? We would still have our own tokens, but these would all be many worlds projects, right? It almost makes more sense for there to be a many worlds chain and then an NFT token, or, an NFT market, the trading post token, the customization platform token. If a government agency approaches us for a grant and says, hey, we want you guys to look at the DMV and we want to see if you can convert that to a blockchain technology, well, we would create a new token for that project. And anyone who's on the chain, on the Many Worlds chain, can buy those tokens. And that's you crowdfunding and helping participate inside of that DMV request from the government. So yeah, I think from the beginning, Many Worlds probably should have just been its own chain, but how are we supposed to know? We didn't know anything. We were all on a Christmas-related token, having no idea what Solidity or smart contract development even was, and then we launched this thing, and here we are now. So, looking backwards, if I could start the Many Worlds project over, I would have started it as a native chain, yeah, and then everything would have been a project built off of it. It'd be a private chain that you need to KYC into. Yeah, that's how I would have taken it. But again, doesn't matter how I would have taken it. It's whatever we want to do. So, any other questions, comments, anything for me? One thing I think I'd like to start, and I don't want to start this yet because I want everyone to have more content about it. But it could be bi-weekly as well, but like a bi-weekly project discussion where everybody in the community, everybody in Discord, everybody who's here, you can get up into the voice chat. We'll have maybe a moderator be there, and that moderator can just, deal with people raising hands. Maybe there's a list of questions or talking points beforehand, so it's not just chaos, everybody talking over each other. But, an actual productive conversation for the community, a list of talking points. People can go back and forth, share their opinions. You can have a debate. You can discuss the pros and cons of different things. I do want to start that, and we can start that as soon as you guys want. I was just hoping that there'd be more framework and like content on the legal side of it all first. But I don't know. Do you guys want to start that and just start talking about the project overall beforehand? What do you guys want? Well, I don't think anyone wants it then. So, all right. So we can wait. I'll leave that up to mods. We have mods. Yeah, we have Hibiscus, and yeah, we have a few people. So mods, if you do want to start organizing that, just like a bi-weekly kind of community chat, talking points about the project and where it's headed, and some of the things we're talking about in the staff chat. None of this is secrets, right? There's zero secrets here. I can't juggle everything and communicate it all effectively. So I think it would be good for the community to be having conversations and discussions about the things that are being discussed in chat. And we could start getting that workflow of like, this is not a team that's just doing things. Like, this is what we want it to be. It will be. So yeah. If someone could start working on that, that would be great. I'll ping the staff chat about that. Fast forward a few years, have pre-approved contracts to use on the go, but new contracts need to be verified to mitigate chain hacks. Don't know how that works, but I guess you need to use contracts somehow. Yeah, exactly. And it could be a chain that any member of the Many Worlds community can participate, but being a member in this community, it's a little bit harder, right? That's one of the reasons I kind of don't like that we're publicly traded, because I think it goes against what we're trying to build here. I don't think that anyone anywhere should be able, like Shiba Inu, right? You own Sheeb and you're part of the Sheeb community. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter what you do. Doesn't matter if you help or if you're just there for the ride. Like, it doesn't matter. Because you own a token, you're now a member. It's that simple. And I really don't like that personally. And I don't think that's how a good organization grows. That's not how a club works. That's not how a fraternity works. That's not how any organization that actually works together functions. If everyone could just participate and do whatever the hell they want, it's the Wild West. So yeah, I would love to see us have a chain where members you actually have to be approved, right? You have to be KYC'd. You're going to be receiving payment for your participation. And that's not just some random reflection distributed on chain, right? There's a real reason for that income. Like, you can turn many worlds into a job. You can turn it into an actual real income that you're working full time on. That to me is incredibly exciting. The route you can go. Trying to build what we're doing and trying to build the Many Worlds mission and do that inside of Wild West crypto land, it's hard. And we're trying, but it's hard. It's hard to do it that way. Could you close the books and the only people who can participate for it are those in the book? Then you could start any token you want for new. Yes. So that is the goal right now, right? I said earlier, likely, I'm not certain yet, but likely this will result in a V2 contract. We are likely going to need to deploy a new contract. All current holders will be airdropped and you'll have your tokens, but all future holders will have to participate, there'll be almost an onboarding process of becoming a member of the Many Worlds organization, whether that's KYC'd or whatever it's going to be. I have no idea yet. No clue what information is going to need to be required for that. But yeah, that's where I think we're headed. I think we're headed to a redeployment of the contract. All current holders are grandfathered in, and they are members of the Many Worlds community. And all future holders need to go through an onboarding process in order to participate in the organization. Like, being a part of this organization should be something people desire, right? It shouldn't be something anyone could just have at their fingertips. You're in this organization and you get to network. Think about all the people that are involved in this organization, all the companies that we've partnered with, the people we know, the skill sets, the talent pools that exist inside of our community already. That shouldn't be something that is just free for anybody to use, leverage, or try to exploit. That should be something that you're excited to be a part of. You're excited to be able to help out and grow the vision and execute the mission of the organization. And if that leads to, some networking or doing something with other folks that are also members, yeah, that should be a thing that you can't just go on Pancake Swap, buy some tokens, and all of a sudden you reap all of these benefits for nothing. You have people pouring countless hours of work for nothing right now, right? Just donating time. And they're expected to receive the same exact amount as some whale that bought, a couple million tokens at the beginning of this. I don't like that. And maybe that's an inherent problem with crypto overall. And maybe none of you agree with anything I'm saying, and I'm totally going to get voted out of all this. So this conversation will certainly become more involved as the legal side develops, because treat that as Human's proposal, right? When that is done, I'm going to propose that to everybody, and then discussions are going to happen, and we can vote no. That's okay. I hope that there's a counter proposal to that, and we don't just vote it down and then say, well, let's not do that, but I don't know what we should do. So yeah, this whole conversation we're having right now, awesome. I hope conversations like this continue in general. People keep thinking about the way they want this organization to look in the future and over the coming years, because that's what we're building. We're not building some quick thing. This is something that I want to see be around for years and years and years, and that takes some serious time in the beginning. So once that first proposal comes from me, I think these discussions will become a lot more fluent about the way I see it all working, but my way is not the right way. All right. That went a little bit longer than I thought, but you got me excited, everyone, because you had really good input and questions there. If there is anything else, anything pressing anyone would like me to chime in on real quick, I'd be happy to do so. If not, I'd like to call it here. And then we can pick up this conversation in general. All right, looks like nothing else really pressing. Thank you all so much for chiming in today. Love what I'm seeing here. Progress is certainly being made. I'm excited to get this open beta live for you all. Just those 2 remaining issues. We'll have an update on that probably next week. Looks good. But we're there, right? We are. The marketplace is all the hard stuff Arexis and Chewy have done now, which is super exciting. So the hard part's over. We just have little tweaks left to go. We're going to kick a live open beta. People could start participating in that, giving feedback. And we'll just kind of work out the kinks of that over the coming weeks as well. And hopefully we have, a little bit more that legal proposal structure that I'll shoot everyone's way. And that'll be the real starting point of this whole thing. So really excited. It's been almost a year, if you can believe it. Almost a year since we launched this thing. Well, not since we launched, but since inception of this thing. Almost a whole year of just grinding nonstop. And it looks like we are finally it is within our grasp of getting this going. So much love, everybody. Looking forward to seeing the conversations continue. And we will see you on the next AMA. Bye now.